Welcome back everyone to the newest edition of the Weekly News Review. I'm Dark Hour 717 and this is where we're going to go over the latest in news from the Star Citizen universe. Before we get started though, if you're enjoying these updates, do me a favor and hit that like and subscribe button. This helps get the video out to more people and I really appreciate it. Thank you to all of you that have already subscribed so far. Also stick around to see how you can get entered in for a chance to win an Anvil Centurion with LTI and the Beachhead paint. This week there is some good information to go through. Currently we are in patch 3.17.2, though not much as far as anything new going on with the current patch. Stability still continues to be good, and a vast improvement over patches 3.17 and 3.17.1. Though we are still continuing to experience a variety of 30k server crashes as well as crashes to desktop, the frequency is vastly lower than the previous patches. With the Siege of Orison event completed, the availability of activities, though smaller, has plenty to offer players as they progress through the verse. Though the main patch continues to work well, we see more testing in the PTU on several items does continue. With the latest patch going out to the PTU on the 17th, we see additional playthroughs of the Ninetales lockdown on Wednesday and the Siege of Orison on Thursday for several hours. As for the additional items added to these tests, we see that bug fixes for Ninetales lockdown wreckage should no longer spawn inside an armistice zone, which was making it impossible to engage the hostile forces inside or around the wreck, as well as a fix for the fact that the friendly scanning ships in Ninetales would not spawn when trying to complete the scanning objective during the event. They also noted that one client crash, 2 server crashes, and a back-end wallet server crash was fixed on the technical side, which goes to indicate the issues that we saw early in the week with players logging in and several missing all of their AUEC. Though not affecting everyone, this did raise concern with several players though. Thankfully, SIG seems to have fixed the issue quickly with only minor inconvenience and everyone's AUEC returned. Patch 3.17.2 does continue to operate well with the stability and ongoing support. This patch really is turning into one of the better patches in the last year. This is at least in my opinion. The added features and gameplay is great, and even though there are bugs, this is actually unavoidable with it being in an alpha state. So hopefully we'll see more testing in the PTU as we progress through, and the fixes that they are able to work out continue to be implemented into the live servers so that the experience continues to only get better. This week we have seen the beginning of the Ship Showdown for 2952, and as mentioned last week, this is a multi-phase yearly event in which players can nominate and vote for their favorite ships and vehicles within the Star Citizen universe. Being in the beginning phase, we are currently seeing submissions to the Ship Showdown through several sources: the Spectrum submissions, Twitter, and even TikTok. Yes, even TikTok. There is also a TikTok specific contest going on as well from CIG. I will have a link to where you can find the rules and information in the description for this. The contest is running until the 29th of August at 11:59 p.m. Pacific time. Prizes for this contest will be an MSR with LTI for the first place. Second and third place are going to receive an Anvil Arrow with LTI, and winners will be announced on or before September 2nd. Currently as it stands, the top 16 ships from my calculations in no specific order are the Ares Inferno, C8X Pisces, the Terrapin, the Raft, the Redeemer, the Warden, the Mercury Star Runner, the 400i, the Hammerhead, the Carrack, the Cuddy Black, the Saber, the PTV, the Mule, the 600i Exploration, and the Scorpius. So a wide range of different ships from small to large. Of course, as some will point out, there is a small number of them that some feel is just there for a meme, and that very well could be the case. But every flyable, drivable ship is allowed to be entered. Of course, we saw the Argo Cargo win it all last year, and that really opened a hotly debated discussion on what should and should not be allowed to be entered. In all honesty though, it's just a fun contest, and one that really the outcome will just provide for a new skin to the owners of the top 4. I personally have no issue with the PTV, the Mule, and even some question the entry of the Pisces. These vehicles, all in their own right, have positives and negatives. The Pisces, I actually will admit, is one of the most useful and versatile vehicles in the game, and one that most people agree performs well above what it was designed for. In the end though, the contest is a fun yearly event, so get your votes in. We have just over 8 days left to upvote our favorite entries and vehicles that we want to see get into the contest. After this phase, the head-to-head voting will start, and a Sweet 16 bracket will be posted on the RSI site with the ability to vote on them daily, so look for that to begin after this initial phase. I will have a link in the description to where you can go and vote for your favorites. Now, for getting into our regular weekly news sources, we see that no in-depth additional information came out on Mondays this week in Star Citizen, though it does mention the completion of the dynamic events, and for those that participated in the Siege of Orison on Wednesday, you should have received a personal breakdown of your stats in the event in the form of a debrief email. This goes into some of the basics showing your performance with total eliminations, total deaths, and eliminations using ground weapons. I actually enjoyed getting these figures and was surprised to see I actually did better than I thought I had. So if you have not seen this email, check your spam or junk folder as it was sent out to anyone that participated. Tuesday, we did see the latest in lore post with Plain Truths, Loreville Lies. This post is an entry from Parker Terrell, and he is the host of Plain Truth, an investigative journalism show that really questions the truth about events that occurred over the course of many years. Approached by an anonymous informant, Parker brings to light the possibility of Hurston Dynamics' involvement with the radicalization of the UWH, or United Workers of Hurston. This was a group that saw its origins in fighting for workers' rights, safety, and fair treatment, earning the backing and support of the public majority, until one day an event occurred that changed everything. In 2937, the tragedy of the Lestal occurred, in which the UWH members took control of and held hostage a Hurston cargo ship by the name of the Lestal. Having gone as far as throwing the pilot off the ship to fall to his death, security forces eventually had to storm the ship to regain control, killing all the UWH members as well as 3 more additional hostages. Since this time, the UWH's support quickly dwindled as they became more violent in their methods. For years, the public's opinion was drastically changed against the group due to their actions. But after being approached by someone calling themselves Canary, who brought to light the fact that these occurrences and radicalization could have been backed and implemented by people implanted into the group by Hurston Dynamics to gain an upper hand over them, Parker now questions the influence and lengths to which Hurston Dynamics may have gone to protect their bottom line. It is really a great story and recommend checking it out. A link's going to be in the description. I really enjoyed this one. After the lore post on Wednesday, we saw the Map Roundup come out with a number of entries for the progress tracker. The first one was Arena Commander Classic Race Mode Overhaul, in which we see a revamping of all the systems and race maps in Arena Commander Classic Race Mode. This includes the checkpoint entity and race manager system, scoring, and a complete rework of all 3 New Horizons Speedway maps, plus the addition of the Snake Pit. This has all been added to the Arena Commander feature team schedule. Then we saw the Volt Pulse, which will design and create the verified off-world laser technologies energy pistol, and this is now with the weapon content team schedule. Also listed was the AI vehicle perception, and this is now on the AI's tech team schedule and will give the AI the ability to both perceive and detect vehicles from the ground, as well as select ground-based targets when piloting their own ships using both vision and radar. And lastly, what we see is the aerodynamic control surfaces. Ships that have control surfaces will be able to use them in atmosphere to assist with maneuverability, which will increase performance from ships that have weak maneuvering thrusters in atmosphere and create a new level of flight in game. This was previously on the roadmap and was removed, but is now back on the schedule with the vehicle features team. This of course brings us to Thursday's Inside Star Citizen, and this was a great episode, starting off with the upcoming improvements to Security Post Correa. As we noted in the previous week, that the security station is getting reactivated, and with it, a lot of changes in how crime stats and clearing them works. First, we see Crusader taking back and reactivating this outpost and placing teams on board of it, as well as using it for illegal contraband storage. With the original intention of Korea being a PvP center point, the introduction of underground facilities really took away from this. With the upcoming changes, we will see the original intention of Korea coming back. With the removal of the underground facility security terminals, the goal here is to beef up the PvP aspect at this site with new updated turrets and new security guards and teams, and this will also bring in a security chief that, once disposed of, you can use his data pad to activate a contraband dispenser and can take items that can be sold at other locations. The ability will remain to clear your crime stat, but when trying to do this, a mission will be sent out to all the other players on the server once a percentage of the station guards are taken out for them to proceed in a mission to stop you. While many good points are brought up in the posts in regard to the ease and accidental nature that many receive crime stats, I hope that there's going to be some type of improvement in this area. Ideas such as ability to pay off both a level 2 as well as the level 1 crime stat, and also start the need for hacking at a level 3 are good inputs and recommendations, though we will need to wait to see if any adjustment is made. I do love the idea of taking what is basically right now just an unused and dead facility and bringing new restored life to it. And the gameplay they are discussing, I think, is an improvement for sure. I think this will be very interesting to see how this develops. After that, we learned during the second part of the show of upcoming changes to Klescher rehabilitation. With a look at new activities coming to the jail, we see that we're going to be able to see an implementation of NPC prisoners through the mines, as well as overly aggressive prisoners that will need to be taken out and missions that will employ you to do so. On top of this, we'll see the addition of a black spot area in which you can receive missions from outside the facility for you to perform while you're incarcerated. These will all add to additional gameplay capabilities inside the facility and open up many opportunities for new ways to earn your way out. These new changes in both Korea and Klescher I think are long needed, and I am excited to see what they come up with for these. We'll update everyone as more information comes out. And finally, we have an all ships Q&A Star Citizen live on Friday, and this one I'm really excited for as we see Jared joined by John Crew and Ben from the Vehicle Features team and celebrate the Ship Showdown. This episode really gets into many questions in regards to ship building design and features, some key points touching base on the Caterpillar elevator doors and why something that seems so simple is really a difficult challenge, and the current door and elevator technology cannot handle the complex motions required to make them work. Questions are also asked as to the state of modularity and has it been forgotten. And while they state that it has not been forgotten, we should be hearing more on this in the coming months. Jared, speaking carefully and not to reveal what he is not supposed to, states the makeup of the upcoming CitizenCon and the resource management, and that in time we will discover more in regard to a highly anticipated ship, which I'm guessing may be alluding to the 600i rework that we've heard about. Questions on what is needed in-game for ships like the Idris, Kraken, and Polaris was also asked, and a key thing here they stressed is that there is more than the ship being finished that is needed. Though there's optimization and additional tech needed prior to them being introduced, but also that in the current state, the experience would not be enriching as you would be flying a ship that has near zero maneuverability and have absolutely zero gameplay loops supporting it. Plus the fact of the importance that Squadron 42 has some of these ships slated first, and the need for one model to be completed between the two is key, so not to negate the work of one or both teams because some changes decided to be needed for Squadron 42 after the vehicle has already been implemented into the PU. Touching base on the release of the ships that have been in concept for a long time, John stated and reiterated that no longer will ships be released without gameplay, and that when they start a ship, they see it through from the beginning to the end and ensure that there is gameplay to go along with it. After that, Ben had actually taken time to answer a question in regards to the Atlas platform paints and whether they're going to be interchangeable across all three variants, as they are not at this time. He did state that that is truly the end goal, they just do not know when it is coming, as the ballista and the outer construction is the holdback. But interestingly, John had made the remark that due to marketing and legal, they will not just be able to do it, and then really went cryptic as Ben acknowledged he said something he should not have. As to what this is in regard to, I am unsure. My best guess, though, is it may be related to the fact that there are multiple variants of the ballista that were pledged, and these are paint variants. Although, honestly, this is really just a guess as to what they could be referring to. After that, they got into touching base on a number of different things, including ship naming, food trucks, artillery ground vehicles, and upper docking collars. After that, they went into a speed round of updates, which included the Hull C, which is almost near completion, but time is being spent to bring it to metric standard, but it's very close. The Ranger motorcycles, which is blocked by the tech of 2 wheels, but it's not in production at all yet. The 600i rework, the concept is completed, and again, an upcoming event may bring some more info by end of year, but it's not in production. The Polaris, the full concept pass has been completed and may be shown in future event, but it's not in production yet either. The Apollo was going to start, and the US vehicle team is currently finishing up the Corsair, but could be possibly slated to work on the Apollo next. With the Perseus and the Nautilus, there was no new information that they could give, and the Retaliator rework, the reconcept is complete and changes to the interior are mapped, but only 90% done, and this has actually been paused due to the fact that they have to bring the exterior up to standards because of the changes. With the Corsair and the brand new Merchantman, we're going to be seeing some updates on this in the coming month for Jared, and the Crucible is going to be getting a complete concept rework from the ground up. So lots of information, and the show really dives much deeper than what I can mention here, so highly recommend you check it out. A link's going to be in the description. And that's about it for this week's news update, and I hope you found it useful. Leave a comment, let me know what bits of information you like most, and what do you look forward to the most out of all of this. Also remember, you can get entered in for a chance to win an Anvil Centurion with LTI and the Beachhead paint. Just subscribe here and leave a comment on any video to automatically be entered. You can also get a second entry by following over on Twitch, where you can also catch the stream every Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. The winner is going to be drawn on September 1st, so keep an eye out for those notifications. If you would like to help support the channel, then visit the merch store, hit the join button for a membership to the channel for as low as 99 cents per month, or you can always hit that super thanks. All of it goes right back into the giveaways that we do back to the community. I want to say thank you to everyone though for joining me this week, and please be safe out there, and we will catch you in the verse.